Yeah, I know. I'm late to the news. Um, if you guys have been living under a rock the past week, or for some incredible reason have had all your internet off and been lived off the grid for the past couple of weeks, it was confirmed in quite shock news on a Wednesday morning that Christian Horner has left Red Bull. And if you have been connected with things, you will have seen videos that have been done by YouTubers. You'll have seen news stories that have been done all about this, and then like sort of follow up speculation. But the weird thing is, all that speculation has been on Max Verstappen, which to me seems like the smallest part of the future puzzle. What's the next puzzle? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that Max Verstappen is small news here, but given his reputation, whether Max Verstappen gets a Formula One seat or not is probably dependent on Max Verstappen, right? It'll be up to him what he wants to do, but he will be in F1 next year if he wants to be. So, is it really news until we start getting the driver transfers? Probably not. And there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we probably can't work out. But to me, the bigger stories is actually regarding the two parties that have separated. What of Christian Horner? What of Red Bull? And so that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to focus in on the two parts that matter. A team in Formula One, would they stay or would they go? That has a bigger impact on whether a driver stays or goes, right? And someone with the experience of Christian Horner, where he moves on, that has a big impact as well. Because whilst, yes, you could say that the driver is a more valuable commodity in a Formula One team, there's normally only one manager and team leader in every team that is responsible for steering the ship. So it's actually quite rare to find someone of that. So there should be much more speculation over Christian Horner's next move and what his next move could be. Especially as there's some things which you are probably aware of, but we will be getting into later on in the video. So I'm going to start off with Red Bull itself because I feel like this is the easier one to answer. Yes, the big organization and where this goes next is the easier one to answer than just one guy from the middle of England. So let's talk about Red Bull post Christian Horner. So the news we know about the Red Bull family is that Lauren McKees, who was the director of RB up until a couple of weeks ago, he's now been promoted. He has taken Christian Horner's spot at Red Bull. And honestly, I think this is a brilliant move from Red Bull. Obviously, like I say, shock Christian Horner's left, but if there was anyone to bring in to replace Christian Horner, I feel like Lauren McKees is the perfect guy. Let me explain why. Firstly, Lauren McKees knows his way around the Red Bull family probably better than anybody. Yes, you could look back to the last 3 years when he's been past 2 years when he's been part of the Red Bull family and RB, but he was part of Toro Rosso and Alpha Tauri way before then. He did jobs in between, but basically he has started out there. He is finishing there. He's a very experienced guy in the Formula One paddock. He's a likable guy in the Formula One paddock as well. After all, he is regularly being interviewed whilst the race is going on as well, um, by Sky Sports and everything like that, talking about how things are going for his drivers and everything like that. He's an open guy, not willing to discuss certain aspects. Yes, of course, withholding some information, but ultimately showing this sort of welcome into the team approach for outsiders. And the fact is, someone who does that for outsiders doesn't normally change for people within the team. It's a laugh, it's a joke. You're one of the lads. Welcoming. And actually, that track record has shown for the drivers for RB. Think about what's happened this year, for example. I'm not going to use Yuki Tsunoda as an example because Yuki Tsunoda was driving for the AlphaTauri group in the Red Bull family before Lauren McKees came back, right? But we're just going to focus on this year's drivers. Isaac Katjar, first race of the season, he spins it and bins it in Australia. He is breaking down. He's doing things. His reaction to things is being described as embarrassing to the advisor of Red Bull. Put yourself in Isaac Kadjar's position. Your confidence is going to be pretty shot. Who has been considered as one of the brightest rookies of this year, alongside Kimi Antonelli? Isaac Kadjar. He has gone from the lowest of the low on the first race to now being one of the brightest prospects. Sometimes it actually might even be considered as part of the Red Bull family, Red Bull seats, if Yuki Tsunoda struggles. I don't want to see it given the second seat curse, but actually, we might start to see a bit more honesty with what's going on. A bit more of why is this happening? A bit of an understanding. Someone that's willing to look into things, and we'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a bit about looking into things as well. But I think actually the bigger impressive feat in terms of supporting a driver is with Liam Lawson. He started off the season at Red Bull and was qualifying 20th. Last place in a Red Bull behind Saubers, behind Hasses, behind Alpines. Wasn't going great for him. And even when he moved back to RB, everyone was expecting him to jump straight back on. He didn't. He struggled for a few races. There was even discussion that he would lose his seat in the Red Bull family entirely, similar to how Albon lost his seat so quickly in the Red Bull family straight after being demoted. What have we seen in the past few races? Liam Lawson showing his class that we've seen him do in a handful of races whilst he's been a part-time driver, let's say, in the Formula 1 Canada. And that's all down to Lauren McKees and RB. It seems to me that Lauren McKees is very much about morale more than anything else. And for me, Red Bull has felt like a team, very experienced but very low on morale. After all, they've got somebody in Max Verstappen who is very experienced and very demanding. So if you've got someone demanding from a driver's perspective and voicing his emotions, the very last thing that you want is the same sort of atmosphere from a manager. You actually want a supporting manager of going, look, this is a situation. Let's just sort this out. And Lauren McKees will do that. Ultimately, for Red Bull, this is brilliant, especially when you then consider what Laurent McKees was doing outside of the Red Bull family. Yes, he was part of the FIA, And what goes on in the FIA is a mysterious thing that I feel like the more that we look into it, the more scared we might end up being. Anyone who's seen videos that I've done on the politics of Formula One knows how messed up it is, even if you just start scratching the surface, let alone digging into it. I thought corruption was just for FIFA. No, it's the FIA as well. But let's switch away from that and look at his other job that he did outside of the Red Bull family when he was a technical director for Ferrari. Now, when was this? This was in the 2018 to 2021 situation. I'm pretty sure it was, right? But he was definitely at Ferrari in 2021. He left in 2023, I think it was. And you could look at that and go, well, that's a bit rubbish. Ferrari were terrible in 2021. They didn't take the advantage of an opportunity that had come their way. They had an open goal. Or at the very least, they had an opportunity to take a shot on goal with only a goalkeeper barely there. It could have been in their hands, and they bottled it. And that is true, but that wasn't Lauren McKeith's doing. Lauren McKeith was, in a sense, in charge of studying the formula, working out the best design for the car, working out what would have been best in terms of the actual design. Now, Aaron McKeith wasn't part of the guys bottling it. He was giving them the open goal in the first place. Without Lauren McKeith, Ferrari would have been a dog's dinner that year. We would have had a Red Bull domination way before 2022, right? Oh no, 2023. 2021 was... I mix up my years. I don't know if I blame that down to COVID or blame that down to the trauma of... No, let's not go there. But, yeah, Lauren McKeith provided that open goal for Ferrari. So, for me, Red Bull are in safe hands. And it kind of makes sense. We touched on this, I think, was it last year? And it came to, like, would Red Bull disappear from the sport entirely? And no, they would not. They're here for the thrill. They're not here to sell stuff. They're not here to promote Red Bull. Let's face it, Red Bull is famous enough as it is without needing a Formula One team. It's already got it. They're here for the fun of the sport. They are basically like Williams and all that. They will do anything to stay in the sport as long as they see it as thrilling. And I think they still see it as thrilling. So Red Bull aren't going anywhere. And I think with Lauren McKeith, yes, there'll be a bumpy couple of years, but we'll start to see a bit more of a stable Red Bull. Yes, there'll be a bit of a disruption in the time. This is the first time they've had, in a sense, a managerial change since their start. But, yeah. I think if you're a Red Bull fan, there's cause for hope here. Red Bull will stay. So that's Red Bull. Now, the more complicated subjects. Christian Horner. So, where is his next move going to be? Now, this is the thing. In terms of a skill set, Christian Horner's got quite an impeccable CV. He has basically fast-tracked his way up to being a powerhouse CEO of a Formula One team. Started off as an F2 driver, looked after an F2 team. Then when Red Bull bought out Jaguar, he was made the team principal. I think he was the youngest team principal at the time as well. And throughout all of the Red Bull's ups and downs, Christian Horner stayed. The situation with David Coulthard and Mark Webber at the time when the sister team was performing so much better, Christian Horner stuck around. The time when Sebastian Vettel was, in a sense, breaking team rules and causing Mark Webber to get a little bit ratty and causing a little bit of division and chaos in the team, Red Bull stuck around. The time when Ricciardo joined the team and then made Sebastian Vettel go from being the lead driver to starting to feel like the second fiddle and all the chaos surrounding that, Christian Horner stayed. The time when Max Verstappen came into the team caused a bit of chaos between him and Ricciardo. Yes, Horner stayed. And then throughout all the time when the Red Bull family felt like it was falling apart with the rise and fall of Gasly and the rise and fall of Albon, the rise and quick fall of Nick De Vries as well, which, yes, I know was part of AlphaTauri, but it's still the Red Bull family. All this chaos that was going on. Sergio Perez's fall from grace to the point where he was crashing things out. Christian Horner stayed. So that CV is impeccable. But then you come to 2024, and here is the blot on his CV. It's the news we all know about, the behaviour of Christian Horner, and we've seen a lot in sport that when someone gets let go from a business, that's when things really start to spill over as to what he did, and we've already known enough about it. The fact that I can coin the phrase the horn dog and people know what I'm talking about shows how much Christian Horner's dirty laundry's been aired. So is that enough of a blot? Are there any options for Christian Horner? Well, I think there could be in terms of the team principal. But let me know your thoughts before I start talking about it. Is his next job as a team principal, or is it as something else? Is he now going to be a pundit? Is he now going to be an agent? Is he now going to be the equivalent of like a Helmut Marko in a team? That's the question. Put your comments down below. But let's focus on, if Christian Horner was to stay as a team principal, where would he go? And the thing is, it's quite a close shop. McLaren are a happy family at the moment. At no point would they ever move away from Andrea Stella. Mercedes, okay, there's been a few change arounds, but can you really see Christian Horner working alongside Toto Wolff? Or God forbid, Christian Horner working alongside Toto Wolff? Can't see that happening. The Aston Martin could be an option, but given the fact that Adrian Newey left Red Bull to go to Aston Martin, I get and also Jonathan Wheatley Jonathan Wheatley went to Sauber. We'll be touching on that later. But given the fact that Adrian Newey left Red Bull to go to Aston Martin, could be awkward situations. And plus, if he likes to put the pressure on people, then I get the feeling the drivers might not like him too much. Where else will be a struggle? Well, I mentioned Sauber. Sauber will definitely be a struggle because they've already got two team principals. They've already got Jonathan Wheatley. They've already got Matteo Binotto. Sauber doesn't seem the option. Audi doesn't seem the option for him. It doesn't seem like it's even there in the first place. And of course, with him being let go of Red Bull, could you really see him at AlphaTauri, at RB? Probably not. And even Williams, they've got a renowned team principal already. Would they upset it by bringing in Christian Horner? Bit more of like a 20% on that one. And the reason I say that is Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon are there. Maybe, just maybe, but that still seems like a stretch. As far as I can see it, there's 3 teams that stand out, either through genuine rumours that are going through the media, or for other situations that I can foresee. And it doesn't take much with an elimination to know which ones they are. So let's discuss them from the big rumour to the smallest. So let's start off with that big rumour, the Ferrari one. Could we see Christian Horner replacing Fred Vasseur at Ferrari? Now, this is the thing for me. This could be a potential of being too soon. Now, I don't know how the gardening leave works for team principals, whether it works out as a year, which means we might find out next year as to that role. Next year for me seems like the trial period for Fred Vasseur. He's coming at a time when Ferrari have been shaky, and there's still things to iron out and clean up and sort out at Ferrari that are within Fred Vasseur's control. Whether he'll do it or not is another matter. I've made my feelings abundantly clear on that. But for me, I feel like if I was the big boss of Ferrari, that I would give Fred Vasseur a bit more time. It doesn't feel like enough time for Fred Vasseur to have implemented his plan. So this one is sort of like a 50-50, and it all depends on how Ferrari do next year, not this year. Depends on whether Fred Vasseur keeps his job. If Ferrari have a brilliant car and they are ruining it like they did in 2022, I can see him being given the Hevo like Mattia Binotto did. And then almost bringing in like a sort of a Ross Brawn type figure makes sense. But right now, it doesn't. So for me, that one, it's not scrapped, it's shelved. To me, the more likely options seem like to be the options that no one's talking about. Let's start off with Alpine. I think it's safe to say that it's been a dustbin fire at Alpine. They have one of the slowest cars on the grid. They have dropped one driver. There's rumours that they're dropping the driver that replaced the driver that they dropped. They lost their team principal through very, very dodgy situations that are happening. And the guy that's taking over those duties shouldn't be taking over those duties for whatever reason. I cannot say this enough. I love Flavio Briatore in terms of his character. I remember his appearance on Top Gear where he was absolutely hilarious and constantly going Jesus Christ to James May in like a what the hell are you doing, man? Which was really funny. If you ever get the chance to watch Top Gear when they were driving around Monaco, it is chef's kiss, right? But Flavio Briatore doesn't seem to be the guy that should be the team principal. So maybe Christian Horner could be the one that puts out the fires. But then again, considering Christian Horner's reputation that's happened over the past couple of years, there could be a bit of unease from some members of going, is he going to intensify the dumpster fire in a bit more of an aggressive approach? So to me, the best option for him, if they were to say yes, would be Cadillac. Now hear me out here, because that seems like a bonkers bonkers team to go for. A team that's unproven, a team that has no Formula One experience, so you're basically going to be the teacher of everybody. And on top of all of that, you don't know anything about the team. You don't know who your drivers are. You don't know what's being built. You don't know how it all looks. You could be basically being the team principal for the Minardis, the Arrows, the Williams when it was at its worst, the Caterhams, the Marussias, the HRTs. This genuinely could be, if it goes wrong, the HRT on the team. So why would Christian Horner go there? Because that's what he did before. Christian Horner is the guy that can help build. Not rebuild, but build. Start from scratch. He's got that experience. He knows what it's like. He's had the experience of, yes, the guys at the top and being the big boy amongst those guys, but also being one of the guys at the bottom. A bit like Gunter Steiner. And he would actually be following a similar sort of pathway, because Gunter Steiner was at Red Bull with Christian Horner and then went down to Haas and things like that. Could do that at Cadillac. I don't know why I really like the Cadillac option for Christian Horner. Because right now, Cadillac is being seen as a bit of a goofy team. And what I mean by that is that they're almost being considered that they're the team that's going to be here, be around for 5 seasons maybe, and then drop back out because they realise how expensive it is. I don't think they're being taken all that seriously by the rest of the paddock here. Similar to Red Bull, when it was all considered as a bit of a joke. The team that aren't in it for anything special, just for a laugh. Showcasing that they're in it for a laugh by the promotions that they were doing of certain films and movies and different things like that, turning up to paddocks in Star Wars gear. What happened? Christian Horner happened. He helped that team be serious. He helped other teams take them seriously. For me, this is the perfect combination here. Cadillac can help Christian Horner with his reputation, can help to heal that reputation, help people to see just how good he is without all the messiness around him. That would need to be sorted by him, but he would then have the platform where he can build his reputation again. And at the same time, Christian Horner can help build Cadillac's professional reputation in Formula One. But those are my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are, whether you think the Cadillac's a good move, Alpine's a good move, Ferrari's a good move, hell, even Haas's a good move, or one of the ones that I dismiss being a good move. Let me know what you think on the future of Red Bull. Ultimately, they were all basically armchair experts. We know nothing. We know very little. And whilst we're all debating that and figuring all that out, I will sign off. And until next time, guys, take care.